Cam Fam, welcome back to the channel. For today's vlog, we're doing something very practical and useful. So I hope that you guys will learn something from this vlog. But before anything else, you guys know the drill. I hope that you're already subscribed and you've already clicked on that bell button so you're always notified whenever I have new videos like this one. So for today's vlog, I am going to share with you guys some simple life hacks that I've learned along the way now that I am an adult and I am a homemaker. I feel like I have more wisdom to share with everyone. Or baka naman some of these life hacks you already know, but some people might not know them, so I'm gonna share them as well anyway. So life hack number 1. When you want to drill something onto your walls, have a vacuum with you ready so that you can avoid dust and dirt all over the place. I am super duper allergic to dust, which is why I'm so particular with these kinds of things. But I'm also very much into decor, which is why I love like drilling into the wall so that I can hang my paintings and my other decor. And we like to do it ourselves. We don't want to call a carpenter, so Yanni is my employed carpenter, and that's what we've learned to do from the contractors that we've worked with before for my family's home, and that's what I saw them doing. Like they would use their drill gun and then have like a strong vacuum ready. So in our case, we're using the Dyson V11. I use the thinnest nozzle so that it's really very specific to that drill hole and everything just goes directly to the vacuum. So my tip is that when you're using the vacuum as you drill, so of course it can be done by one person should hold the vacuum and one person should hold the drill. When the drilling stops, you should still have your vacuum on, because once you're pulling that gun away, there's still a lot of dust coming out of that thingy-majig. So it's better that you have your vacuum on but then longer than the drill. And then you use your vacuum to go through that hole and suck everything out also before you put in the hook. I'm sure you guys understand this, especially with the helpful actions I did there. Okay, my second life hack is all about my indoor plants. Ta-da! Because every time I post a story about my indoor plants, a lot of you guys always ask me for tips of how I take care of my plants. First of all, I wasn't born with a green thumb. I didn't know anything about raising indoor plants when I first started buying them. I also was super duper scared because I was the type of person who, even with succulents, I wouldn't succeed. But actually until now, parang medyo hindi ko pa rin gets yung succulents because I don't know, it's succulents are really hard for me. They're so much harder for me. So for the entire Kokoro house, all our flourishing plants, I only water once a week, and if they're not by the window receiving direct sunlight, then I usually always bring them all out onto our backyard or patio or wherever where they receive direct sunlight. I put them there early in the morning. So every Monday we bring all the plants out, at least those that are not receiving direct sunlight from the window, and then water them all there, and then we leave them out for maybe around 2-3 days until we're sure that the soil isn't so wet anymore, and then we bring them back in. What I learned from our supplier, because most of our plants are from Nest Plant Studio, is at it on Instagram. Anyways, I will put the link there. So Danica, the owner, she used to coach me a lot because I would text her and like panic with my indoor plants. And she told me that when in doubt, it's better to underwater than to overwater. Actually, I feel like a lot of us think that, oh, I'm watering my plants, how come they're dying? It's probably because you're overwatering them and they're not receiving the right amount of sunlight. It's supposed to be a balance between how much you water and how much sunlight they receive. So that's why you have to make sure that the soil is not so wet before you bring them back in, because then the roots will get spoiled. So how would you know how much water you're gonna put in? I think an easy way to know is, of course, number 1, you have to ask the person that you buy from, like, should I water a lot for this plant, blah blah blah. But usually for us, if it's like a normal regular indoor plant, then you should judge by how big the plant is. So for example, if it's a large plant, we would go like 1.5 of the big watering can, and then if it's smaller, then we adjust. So I have this system at home where I tape around, like I put a printed label on all our plants, just so if I'm not around and our help are the ones who water our plants, then they wouldn't find it a hard time. They would just look at it, okay, so 1.5 cans of this one, or like 2 cans of this one, or just 1/2 of the can and stuff like that. So I think the pot is a good indication of how much water your plant can absorb. We also have plants that don't need a lot of water and don't need a lot of sun. So like for example, our snake plants, so for those, we only bring them out once a month and leave them for longer. So we leave them out for like 5 days or a week even. And I feel like most of the plants that don't need a lot of water, they really need their soil to be dry, and then bring them back in. Life hack number 3. So this life hack I learned from my sister. I have to give this message out because I'm sure that if she watches my vlog, and she always watches my vlog, she would like to always be credited. So I'm crediting my sister for this. Freeze the liquids that you want to store longer. So for example, for me, in my case, you know how when you usually buy chicken broth or vegetable broth, they usually only last for a week when you once opened, and usually you don't really use up everything in a week. I mean, I can't use it every day naman. Syempre, you have to mix up your menu and stuff like that, right? So sayang naman if you just use a little and then it all goes away. So what you can do is to portion these things. This goes for anything, like for example, calamansi, or like for your vegetable broth, your chicken stock, for all sorts of things. So you squeeze them all out, you portion them to smaller containers. So you can even use your ice tray and put them there so that when you wanna use something, you could just get one cube out and you don't have to defrost everything. Or you could put them in separate small Ziplocs and put them all in the freezer. This way, like for example, for chicken stock, it can last you for like 6 months. You know, like from 1 week to 6 months. So, diba? Sobrang nakakatipid siya. So, yeah. My mom usually freezes our calamansi. So, for example, if she needs calamansi to cook or for our sauces or something, they're all coming from ice cubes because this way they don't get spoiled easily and they last us months. Life hack number 4, for all of you girls out there who experience the wonderful, wonderful thing called dysmenorrhea, like I do, well, then your best friend is red wine. Yes, red wine. This is actually recommended. Like, Google mo, girl. Like 1 glass of red wine can actually help with your muscle cramps, and it really helps me. I mean, aside from the fact that I love wine, it also really helps my menstrual cramps. Super duper. But they do say online that you shouldn't drink so much of the wine because then it might cause bloating and also cause like some other side effects. But for me, I drink a lot. But on the record, 1 glass is good enough for your dysmenorrhea. Life hack number 5. So this life hack I learned from my mother. I used to hate this so much when I was a kid, but it really works. So use vinegar to lower your fever, especially for kids, because I know my mom, she always tells me that she's so worried whenever we get high fever. That's why she really insists on doing this every single time. So she gets like a washcloth or like a bundle of tissues, and then she has there a basin that's a mix of like 1 part vinegar and 2 parts water. And then she soaks the washcloth or the tissue and then puts it on our forehead. And I kid you not, every time I have like a high fever or something, it really takes it away. You know how when you have like a high fever, you also tend to get headaches, right? Kasi sobrang init, right? And that's usually really dangerous. It really helps. So even if I don't like it, when I grew older, I would tell my mom, okay mom, just give me your vinegar mix. I hate it because I hate the smell of vinegar. I really hate it. But it really works. You don't need cool fever or anything like that. Just vinegar and water and that's it. My mom just uses normal vinegar, but if you Google these things, because of course bago ko to nirecommend, ginugol ko muna kasi I want to make sure that this is not just my mom's doctor quack ways. But yeah, a lot of people also suggest apple cider vinegar, but my mom uses normal vinegar and I think it's the same way and it really works for me anyways. Life hack number 6. If you don't have those fancy face rollers and deep puffers and stuff, just use your spoon. As in, the curved side of the spoon. So what I do, especially when I'm abroad and I have shoots or something and I don't have my roller with me, I don't have any fancy like eye cream patch thingies for me, what I do is I get the spoons, because usually most hotel rooms have the spoons, right? I put it in the freezer or in the ref, but freezer na lang if I don't have enough time to prepare. I put it in the freezer, and then in the morning when I wake up, I take it out, it's super duper cold, and then I put it onto my like eye puff area here, and it immediately depuffs. It really depuffs your eye bags. Of course, do not put it naman ng sobrang tagal kasi syempre madadamage yung skin mo. So always like lift it up. It works, fam. It works. Can't remember what life hack number we're at now already. This is my last life hack. So you probably have some perfume that's lying around. Maybe it's expired already, you don't want to use it anymore, you don't really like it anymore. Or you like it and you want your entire home to smell like it. You can actually use it as a freshener. So for example, if you want your clothes to smell awesome, you could just use, let's say, a dust bag from your shoes or your bags, right? Or like pouch or something. And spray your perfume on there. Put it inside your closet with the rest of your stuff, or put it inside your drawer, and after that, everything else in that area will smell amazing. If you want your room to smell like your favorite perfume, just spray on the textiles, like the fabrics. Of course, make sure that you're spraying it on like non-sensitive fabric. Just do a test first to be sure. But what I do is I spray it on my curtains, I spray it on my sheets, I spray it on the carpet, so lahat ng cloth or fabric. And then when you go inside the room, automatic, parang may diffuser ka na. Parang meron ka ng mga reeds and scents. So that's it for my simple life hacks that I've learned along the way. They're all very, very simple, very, very practical. If you guys have more life hacks to share, or if you've tried some of these life hacks, or you're about to try some of these life hacks, then please make sure to leave me a comment below and give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna see you guys on my next vlog.